Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Gojo, and I'm your friendly neighborhood anime and manga fan. I love all things anime and all things manga, and I'm here today to talk about My Dress Up Darling, Chapter 93. So, what did I think about this week's chapter? I think this week's chapter was phenomenal in Gojo's part because we get to see a lot of character growth with him, as well as we get to see pretty much he finally discovered what he was missing for the cosplay of the Halibel. He finally get to see the fabric that he was searching for this whole time. Now, before I go any farther with this week's chapter, I just want to give you guys a quick reminder to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you guys can be up to date with all my Dress Up Darling as well as all my anime and manga content that I'll be providing in this channel. It really helps out a lot, and I would really appreciate it if you guys could subscribe to my YouTube channel. So if you guys could, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, another thing you might be noticing, like, wait, where are you at right now? So I'm currently visiting California, so that's why my setup looks different. I'm at the beach right now, but you know, I just finished reading the chapter, so I was thinking, you know, let me just post my chapter review on it, on my thoughts of overall, so you guys can see what I thought about this week's chapter. And overall, like I said, I thought the chapter was great, and we pick up pretty much with Gojo, and we see the struggles that he's been through, and pretty much what kind of mind block he's been putting himself under, because you kind of see him kind of just not know what he has to do. Like, he's kind of conflicted, and he doesn't know. It's one of the few times in the story where we see him kind of just helpless. He doesn't really exactly know what he has to do or how to solve the problem. And you start realizing, like, he starts thinking about Akira, he starts thinking about, you know, Miyako, you know, during the whole coffin party, you know, the blonde chick. Starts thinking about how they're so good at, you know, cosplaying, and it's because they have experience, and, you know, they've been doing this for a long time. And Gojo feels like, you know, he thought that he was, you know, he was experienced and veteran enough to be able to, you know, accomplish, you know, being a good cosplayer provider, like somebody that can provide good cosplays and just kind of come in the whim, you know, have an idea and just kind of make it forge out of it. But he's realizing, like, no, it's not that easy, you know. And we see in this chapter he's very conflicted, and he doesn't know, like I said, what to do. And what does that mean exactly? He starts to, you know, crumble. You see kind of Gojo just starts thinking, like, maybe I'm not good enough. And you see kind of like a flashback of his grandpa, you know, for you to become really good with Hina dolls, you know, you got to start just not looking at dolls. You got to, you know, expand your horizons and think of other things. And Gojo just feels like this whole time he's been not doing anything. He's been accomplishing zero, if anything, because he's stuck. He doesn't know exactly what to do. And like I said, he's at a crossroads. He starts thinking, like, am I not good enough? Should I just, like, what am I? And you see that even Marin at one point texts him, like, hey, it's all good, you know, don't stress about it, you know, we're not all perfect, and I know how it feels to kind of be stuck on something that you don't know the answer to, so don't sweat about it. But we know how Gojo is so tough on himself, so we know that he's tough on himself, and we know that he is obviously going to be stuck on it, and that's what he does. I mean, and you see this chapter, it's one of, you know, I would say he reaches one of his breaking points, because you see Gojo get really emotional, and at one point he even, like, slams his fist on the table. It's just how furious he is that he can't solve the problem. And I love these moments because it really shows a lot of characterization with Gojo and how much you know, his weaknesses. You know, you get to see that he's just not flawed, and we know that he's not a flawed individual, but I love when characters in general, when it comes to storytelling, when you get to see their weaknesses and, you know, I wouldn't say a little bit of shortcomings, and, you know, something that they can improve upon, like. And I think Gojo has always represented a great character in that sense, that he's always striving to do his best, and he's always fighting to be the very best. But, you know, maybe you shouldn't just be the very best. It's fine not to be perfect. And I think that's something that Gojo's starting to realize right now, that he has to take some liberties and start realizing, like, you know, maybe perfection isn't all, it's not something that it can be possible. You know, maybe just follow your own road, and, you know, you do your own path, and just kind of be happy with that. And I think that's what Gojo realized in this chapter, because as the chapter goes on, you know, he starts realizing, like, maybe I'm gonna fight. I gotta fight for my dreams. Like, I gotta pursue what I've been doing this whole time and make sure that it's worth a damn. Like, you know, it's worth something. And I think that at the end of as the chapter goes along, you see that Gojo, you know, he really goes through a whole emotional, you know, he goes through a whole emotional journey in this chapter, because we as the audience, we get to see just how, you know, heartbroken he is that he can't solve this problem. And by the end of it, we realize, like, hey, you know what, like, Gojo has, you know, he has conviction, and he has reassurance in the sense that he has solved this problem, and he knows exactly what he has to do to solve the problem, because he ends up, like, as the chapter goes on, we see Gojo be more and more pissed off. He eventually he starts doing some research, goes to the internet, and we see him kind of just, start realizing like, maybe I do know the answers to this. And he starts realizing like, maybe screw being perfect, screw following this guy's whole entire like, oh, I gotta be 100% accurate with every detail. I'm gonna do it my own way. And I think the fabric that's been feeding him this whole time was right in front of his eyes, and it was actually something very simple, and I would say something that he could have gone early on, which is that by the end of the chapter, we realized that the thing that he's been searching for has been pretty close to him all along, which is, the thing that he needs, the fabric he needs for the Halle Bell cosplay has been just an old kimono. And that's how the chapter ends. We see that he just realizes like, I needed that, and now that I got it, I can start doing some progress. Now, what's going to happen after all this? I think that this, like I said, this chapter was very short and sweet, but it was very effective in Gojo's character, because we got to see just exactly how determined he is, first of all, for our girl Marin, which can't blame him. I mean, Marin, best girl overall, right? We all love her. And we all know he's the king as well. But we get to really see Gojo just, go the extra mile like he always does, but in a sense of, we felt helpless for him at some points. We felt like maybe he's hidden like a rock bottom, in the sense that creatively that is, because in the sense of he was stuck and he didn't know what to do. Like for a couple of chapters, he hasn't been able to figure out what kind of fabric. And I'm glad that he was finally able to do it, because now going forward, we get to see more progress with the Halle Bell cosplay. As alongside, we get to see probably more progress in the whole dynamic of him and Marin, and maybe a confession possibly at the comic convention. As well as, time is ticking. The longer Gojo was taking, the sooner he would have to rush. So hopefully going forward, he doesn't have to rush just as much, because he was already kind of rushing. And, the last thing I want to see is just Gojo stressing out and rushing and doing an all-nighter like he has in the past. So hopefully he doesn't have to do that. I'm also very curious to see if it actually pays off. The old kimono was exactly what he needed for that cosplay, in the sense that if they need the writer of the Halle Bell, the one that created her, if he's actually pleased, in the sense that he likes the interpretation that Gojo took upon his own character. And I'm sorry if you guys hear a little bell in the background. It's the ice cream man. So I'm at the beach, like I said. So sorry if you guys have to deal with it. So let's just wait a couple of seconds. Okay, it's not too bad, I guess. But what happens, like I said, I think that now going forward, we're going to see the developing of Gojo finally finalizing that cosplay. And I'm sure that once Marin wears it, it's going to be beautiful. And if they do bump into the creator, I'm really curious to see, like I said, if Gojo nailed it, like he actually absolutely killed it, and this cosplay is going to be amazing. Or if he just goes on a whole rant, like, how dare you, make my character look like crap, or you tarnishing my legacy. And if that were to happen, I guarantee you that Marin would step up and actually be like, no, you're in the wrong. This guy gave it his all, and he absolutely killed it. You're just too picky, and you're just too full of yourself. And I think that if it comes to a point where the writer actually goes and meets Gojo, and he gives Gojo a hard time, like, oh, your outfit like sucks, I think, like I said, I think Marin would step up and be like, no, you're in the wrong. And I think that's something that if I had to put like $100 on, I think Marin would absolutely stand for her man. We all know that Marin's amazing, and I think that she would not let this guy just talk all crap about Gojo. And I also think that Gojo might actually like snap and say something back to him, because Gojo's very passionate. I think he wouldn't just be like, yeah, take it down. Like, I think Gojo throughout the story has gotten a lot of character growth, and I think that he's no longer that pushover from the first chapter, the first chapters of the manga. I think that he's grown as a character as a whole. And I think that he would stand on his ground and be like, no, I'm going to finalize this. And if you don't like it the way I did, I don't care, honestly. This is my version of it. And if you don't like it, sucks to be you. But with all that being said, I absolutely love this week's chapter. And I can't wait to see where the story goes from here, because I'm very excited to see where the story goes from here. Marin, Gojo, just seeing the cute dynamics, as well as, the Halle Bell cosplay finally be finalized. So with all that being said, what did you guys think about this week's chapter? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was alright? Whatever you guys thought, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, thank you so much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel for more of my dress up darlings, as well as more anime and manga content in the near future. But yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.